Thanks for stopping by, taking time out of your day to see my latest video. This video is, I want to show you how to do the faux wood grain treatment that I did on my doors. So first thing I'm going to do is show you the products that I've used, and then I'll go through the steps. So you're going to need a yellow, a golden yellow that I've already painted the door. This one is Dakota Wheat. I've added about 2 ounces of Floetrol. If you've not used this, this is a great product. It decreases your brush strokes. It helps level your paint so your finish is smoother, more even. If you don't like using oils, this is a good product to add to your latex paints. You don't need that much. I just bought it because this gallon was like $2 more than the 32-ounce bottle. So anyway, you're gonna need a base paint, then you're gonna need a wash paint. This one's called Turkish Coffee. If you've not found these Sherwin-Williams samples, they're a great deal. They're in a satin finish, so if you don't want any kind of, if you like the matte, you know, they're not gonna be for you, but they say they suggest the color. I've never had a problem with the color not being right. It's just a little bit of a sheen that, you know, if you want the matte finish, don't use it, but works for small projects. Works great for doors with the Floetrol. Anyway, so like I said, Dakota Wheat, Turkish Coffee. This we're gonna make a wash with. So you're gonna need, oops, let me show you this. You're gonna need a gel stain. This one is aged oak. Getting a little glare, the sun's coming out finally. And then a clear satin polyurethane. You're gonna need tape. This is frog tape. It's trendy lately. I have to admit, I like the clean release blue tape better, but that's all personal preference. Excuse me, got a frog. Gonna need some rags, old towels. You're gonna need some chip brushes. If you've not used chip brush, they're the cheapest brush you can probably buy. These came from Dollar General. These were $2 at Dollar General for these. Walmart has a great, they're probably the best price at Walmart. You can get a thing of 8 for $6. Or this one's like 59 cents at Walmart. This one's like 79 cents at Walmart. So that's probably your best place to get them. What else? We're gonna need the cup that I dropped. Red Solo cups. More than beverages. I love these for painting. I use them as my trim paint when I'm painting up on the ceiling. It's easy to carry in my hand, and then I can just climb the ladder and trim. I use them for mixing all the time. What else? I use them for everything. You're gonna see I mix the glaze with this. And then you're also gonna need your brushes for painting your door, pardon me. I used the 2-inch brush to paint the door. You could use the 1.5, but that's really only good enough for the sides if you want to do that. But anyway, so, oh, the other thing you're gonna need too is if you have crappy paintbrushes, that's a good thing to have too. That's good for the stain step. Because the more rugged your brush is, the more actually the wood grain treatment works. So you don't want a new brush for that. If you have an old icky brush, use that. Okay, so step one. Step one is to take about 2 ounces of your Floetrol and add it to your sample pot. I've actually only used half of this, and I've painted 8 coats of paint on the doors to their 6 coats. And I still have half of this left, so I don't know what I'm gonna use it for. Some other door apparently. So mix that in there, paint your door, let it dry. Second step is what I'm gonna do now. So, oh, I should have brought some water. I'm gonna have to edit this. Second step, you are going to make a wash with your brown paint, and then you're going to wash it on the door with the sponge. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and then I will show you that when I have it ready. I had to jump ahead a bit because I actually ran out of storage on my phone. So anyway, so you can see behind me I've already started a little bit. So let me tell you what I did here. I took about a cup of paint and maybe 2 ounces of water, put it in here, and it gives you this, let's see if you can see that. See how drippy it is? Just a really thin paint. I have a rag and the sponge. The sponge is actually the tool that you're using in this step. So that's what you need handy. The rag I'm just going to set aside to clean up my edges. As you can see, I have started to drag the sponge, and I'm sticking with the lines that would be on a wood door. So I just dip a little bit of it in. You don't need a lot of this, because what I learned happens is where it's heavy is where it's going to pick up the stain most. So you want to be kind of deliberate and wash the paint on. Let's do this. It's hitting the thing. You want to wash it on, but you don't want it messy. Sometimes I go up because it gets a little fuzzy there. So by going up, it gives me a cleaner line. You don't have to have full coverage. This got a little heavy up there, so you just want to add, this is going to be the grain of your wood. If you leave it darker in the corners, your stain is going to be dark there. And I'm going to go over here and do this side. Again, I'm trying not to be too messy outside of the lines that is created by these panels, because that's going to add to the look of wood. It's going to make it feel like it's wood panels. I'll leave that a little bare right there. And then I'm going to go up here. And my husband just got home, so we're going to hear him. Hey honey, I'm making a video.
What?
I'm making a video, so don't talk. Oh, and here come the dogs. Welcome to my life. All right. So you can see what I've done here. Any of this fuzzy stuff, that's going to pick up the grain, and that's going to be fuzzy there. I wonder if I can mute this part. Anyway, so I'm going to reach up top and go straight down. You can take your hardware off. I chose not to, just because the couple times I have, it's never been quite right when I put it back on. Because again, keep in mind, any line you have is going to show in your finished product. Now I've gotten it on here on my deadbolt. I'm actually not too worried about that, because I found Glue Gun is great at getting that off. Is she upstairs? We are dealing with now our 12-year-old dog. After buying all these rugs for her, doesn't like to come downstairs. So we have to walk down the stairs with her. So I think that's what my husband was doing right now. All right. Take a little bit of this off. I'm gonna clean this up because that's gonna look messy once I get the stain on there. So I might take my rag, oops, and take it all off. Oh, and the puppies are playing now. Alright, anyway, you get the idea. I will clean that up a little bit with my wet rag, and I'll see you for the next part. Alright, so this part is where you add the stain polyurethane mix. This takes your base coat of yellow, and then we washed it with the paint, the thinned paint mixture. If you saw the video of the front door, on that one I actually used glaze with the paint. It gave it a little more durability because our dog knocks at the front door, and so I didn't want her claws taking the finish off. But you don't have to do that. You can just thin your paint with water. That's fine too. But anyway, if you watched, we washed it with the sponge, and that gave you this kind of wood texture, but it's still not wood grain. Then I tape off, I do this in a couple of steps. I tape off the horizontal parts. So that'll give me the wood grain pieces. I'm gonna tilt you up. If you see, I did that up there already. And I did the one close to the floor. I just wanted to show you this one. So I taped off all the angles of the thing here because that would be a mitered corner. Tape off all of that. And then the stain, which by the way, I used the frog tape. I'm not a fan of frog tape. I like the blue clean release type. Not sure if that's Scotch or who makes that. So let me show you what I did. I used my red Solo cups. And here's where we had the gel stain. This one's aged oak. And the clear satin polyurethane. I took, to do both doors, I took 6 spoonfuls of the glaze. It's lumpy, it's thick. If you've never used gel. I mean, gel stain is great for doing projects because it doesn't drip all over, but it was a little thick for this. So then I added, to the 6 spoonfuls, I added about 2 tablespoons of the polyurethane. And that will give you, I've used most of it, that this is actually thickened. I could use a little more polyurethane in here. But it's not as runny as your stained polyurethanes, but it is thinner than the gel. So let me go over here. Oh, the other thing you're gonna need are chip brushes. And I'll show you what you do with them. For the whole door, I have probably gone through about 6 of them. All right, so I take my stain and I brush it on. I start in the middle because I find if I get on the ends that it's too heavy on the ends. And I'm gonna drag it across, oops, drip, drip. And you have a little bit of work time with this. I'm gonna go up and get this. Make sure you've put your edges of your tape, push them down well so you don't get drip marks. I was just telling my husband I should have started with this door because I think it's going to end up being my best one. But live and learn. It's only paint, right? All right. I'm going to put a little thicker because then I have a trick with the chip brushes.
And as I said, this is getting thick. I could actually add some more polyurethane before I do the vertical parts. Got a drip there. All right, and then finish it with a smooth line all the way across. It's okay that it gets dark in those crevices. I like that. All right, put that down. And then I take the wider chip brush and I go across what I just did. And I like doing the panels before I do the middle because then it evens out the lines. And then I rotated my brush for the next one just to give it a different line. And then this one you take and that smooths out those lines. You want a light touch. Too heavy, you're going to remove all of it. And if you don't like it, you can go back and redo it while it's still wet. I think that'll do. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take my tape off so you can see the lines and I can catch any drips. See, there's a drip there. I do it while it's still wet so that you have some work time and you can clean that up. Alrighty, throw this here. And then just grab a rag. I use my hands for everything, but oh well. Grab a rag, clean that up a little bit. Got a spot up here. If you leave these dark spots, I've learned it's going to show up on your final product. And if you don't want that big blob there, then you need to get rid of it now. All right, there you go. So then I'm gonna let this dry and then I will probably tape my verticals a bit, but I just want you to see that it indeed does look like wood grain.